This is KGW News at Sunrise.
I'm angry at what happened today. The people who came to this celebration should expect a safe environment.
That is Kansas City's police chief talking about the city's Super Bowl celebration that turned deadly. We'll bring you the latest details on the shooting at the Chiefs Victory Parade coming up here in one of our top stories.
And locally, 30 people detained and a dozen people arrested after police swept a homeless camp in northeast Portland. It's where 2 shootings have happened and people use drugs out in the open. What's next for the people detained and the now vacant lot?
Also this morning, we know Valentine's Day 2024 is in the books at this point, but not before some local couples decided to say I do in Marion County. We're going to hear from the judge who oversaw these weddings in what one of our newsroom colleagues says should now be called Marrying County.
Get it? Yeah, it's on the little...
I love it.
Yeah,
Marion
we
County.
spelled it that way.
Marion County.
We know how to spell most of the time, but
Very cool story coming up here in a few minutes. But Rodney Hill, a lot of people also talking about the weather this morning.
Yeah, so, one of the headlines yesterday was we thought there was at least a 50-50 chance we could see some snow in some of the upper and metro hills around town. That did not happen. Generally, you had to get up above 1,200 to 1,500 feet, except for the gorge, lower, to find some snow. Here's a look at the fact that we still have a winter storm warning up in the Cascades, and in white, we still have some areas of winter weather advisories for lesser amounts of snow. Here's the radar right now, and notice it's dry back here, right? Dry at the coast. Now, there will be more showers and rainy areas fill in during the day, but right now, as we get into the early morning hours of our commute, our weather is really calming down. It's light snow, borderline flurries out in the gorge, and currently light snow, borderline flurries out into the Cascades as well. There you can see the snow level about 1,400 feet, 1,300 feet where the Mount Hood Village is. Here are the temperatures right now. We've been upper 30s, 38, 39 since last evening here in Portland. It's been holding steady. We're still there. 41 West Lynn. Again, we knew we'd stay above freezing in the lowlands of the valley, and that certainly happened, including out on the east side, Troutdale at 38. Gorge temperatures right around freezing from Hood River to the Dalles where we thought they would be, but overall it's not that cold, and Chris is coming up, but when I looked at the past cams, they looked mainly wet on I-84 to me. We'll see what Mr. Beginnis has to say during our show. 43 degrees at noon today, showers coming in, and 45 at 5 o'clock. Here is Chris.
Well, let's start off on the south side of town anyway. For folks heading out of Wilsonville, obviously it's wet, right? Plenty of road spray out there for that part of our commute. We'll take you up to the Sylvan Hill, Highway 26, rolling right along. Again, just wet. Photojournalist Eric Patterson manning the wheel of Drive 8. He's headed out towards Wood Village right now, and certainly the windshield wiper's still going. Don't see any snowflakes or anything out there. That's good, right? We take you up to the Cascade Passes. This is Highway 26. That is snow covered up in Government Camp. And we do have one school closure to tell you about. This is out in Wasco County, South Wasco School District, calling it a day because of snow-covered roads in that part of the state. Guys.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Our top story at 5 o'clock is a police raid at a large homeless camp in northeast Portland this week. It comes after years of neighbors voicing concerns about shootings and drugs being used out in the open. On Tuesday, police raided a vacant lot off northeast 148th and Cooch Street. They detained 30 people and arrested 12 in the process. Before the raid, police had warned the people posted up there that they could be arrested if they stayed on the private lot.
It's transients, drug addicts. They sit out on the curb and do drugs right in front of my parents' house.
I would more like to point out that there's also a lot of mental illness on the streets too. And that kind of, yes, there's drug deals happening and everything like that, but there's also people who need help with their mental stability and everything like that too.
I wish the state would help the people find a place to live so this wouldn't happen.
Portland police say housing outreach workers were there Tuesday as well, but it's unclear how many people they helped. We're told the property owner plans to put up fences to keep people from returning.
Police in Tigard arrested a man they say burglarized dozens of storage units over the last 2 years. 57-year-old Timothy Council was arrested last week after a lengthy investigation, and detectives got search warrants for several of the units he was renting. Inside, they found huge piles of stolen property.
Some of the stuff specifically that we found were naturalization paperwork from the 1920s that was really well preserved. Clearly, whoever owns that paperwork or whoever's grandparents or great grandparents that belongs to, they've taken good care of it, and so I'm sure they're interested in having that back.
If you were a victim of storage unit theft and think your property may be part of this investigation, you're asked to email Tigard Police.
The small community of King City in Washington County is close to recalling the majority of its city council. As Joe Ranieri explains, the effort has to do with the city's plan to expand.
Who would have thought King City, a small community of over 3,000, would be trying to remove the current leaders?
Because I feel like, and this is just my opinion, that the community wasn't listened to.
The bottom line, that's why this recall effort was started earlier last year. One King City resident we spoke to, who didn't want to show her face on camera, said this all started when council members and the mayor wanted to expand.
I think the big issue for the community here was the Fisher Road expansion.
That expansion is also known as the Kingston Terrace Master Plan, according to residents. A plan that would expand this area of Fisher Road in King City West all the way toward Roy Rogers Road near Beef Bend Road.
Well, this process has been going on for several years. And at every juncture in this process, the city council and the mayor didn't listen to us. They gave us lip service, and that's all that they did.
Dan Simpson has been a King City resident for 14 years. He's fine with growing, but he wants to make sure it makes sense.
We have no problem with the growth. It's inevitable. We're going to have to grow. But they want to put somewhere between 3,000 and 3,500 houses out here, and they have to get them to and from the access roads.
While many residents are worried about what that kind of expansion would do to this community, others aren't worried, like Mary Ochley, whose husband, Smart Ochley, is one of the council members voters are trying to get recalled.
And they're not expanding this existing road. It's just going to make an outlet to Roy Rogers. So that's why I'm voting no.
Now everyone in this community is waiting to see how big or small this neighborhood is going to be.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, and I think that we as a community will just have to deal with what comes.
Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
Portland City Council, meanwhile, approved a new measure meant to speed up graffiti removal. The city can now use the Code Hearings Office to penalize property owners who don't remove graffiti. The ordinance changes the previous code, which required the city to get a warrant and pay a contractor to paint over the graffiti first. Then it could place a lien on the property and try to recover the funds.
Thanks to Metro's free parking program, you won't have to pay to park your car today or next Monday at Oxbow and Blue Lake Regional Parks, Broughton Beach, and Chinook Landing Marine Park. People can also use the James Gleason boat ramp for free. So yeah, no boat launching fees, no parking cost either. You can find out more information and see all the other free parking days on Metro's website.
We got to get a boat. It's free.
Is that your takeaway?
That's the takeaway.
My takeaway.
Yeah.
Time to get a boat.
Refocusing our attention this morning. I know you've been busy here in the Weather Center.
Yeah. So generally speaking, the only problems we have are typical problems. We have snow-covered passes up in the Cascades. The gorge looks to be in pretty good shape. Coast Range looks to be in pretty good shape. And the radar shows a lot of dry weather coming in just in time for the morning commute. Look at this. Nothing along the coast right now. The snow for everything's weakening with this storm currently. It's just mainly borderline flurries, Cascades and gorge. We've got rain now mostly on the east side of I-5. Now there's some trailing showers, and don't misunderstand, there will be more rain come in during the day. It's just that we're getting into a dry break right now. Temperatures, a lot of talk about temperatures. We see my forecast low for this morning in Portland was 36. The reality is we've been at 38, 39 all the way back to dinner time last night. Temperatures held steady, but certainly nobody flirted with freezing, so no issues here. 44 in Beaverton, 36 out in Happy Valley. Wilsonville's in the 40s. You know, we have a chilly east wind coming out of the gorge, but when we get away from downtown Portland, you drop south. This has all been breezy south winds overnight that have really warmed things up. That's why it's 46 Canby, Kaiser, Salem. You folks will see temperatures up to 50 today. How about that? Here's a look at the other map. We've got 50 in North Bend currently. Florence is at 49, 37 over in Bend. Remember, this was cold Canadian air that was coming down. We were feeding that east wind through the gorge, but it was never Arctic air. And overall, it hasn't just been that much of a batch of cold air to begin with. I mean, 32 in the Dalles and Pilton and Pullman up in Spokane, chilly, but not newsworthy, right? Here's a look at our futurecast model. A lot of dry time coming into the next several hours, with the shower chance continuing, and the snow in the gorge and the snow mostly light up over the Cascades as well. Now, here's a passing shower around noon, but it's really what part of our day is shaping up to come in later this afternoon. Here's 3 o'clock. And then all this is going to be moving up to the north. So by mid-afternoon into the evening, we're back into it's raining, and the snow rates will pick up in the Cascades and potentially snow rates picking up in the gorge. Now, daytime temps in the gorge will be above freezing today, traveling a non-issue. But you folks will be along 84, seeing numbers get back down to where they are right now tonight. That's back down to around 31 or 32. For Portland, 36 to 46 today, the rainier weather this afternoon into this evening. Tomorrow's a dry break. We get into some evening overnight shower possibilities, likely showers on Saturday. Sunday afternoon could be dry through Monday morning. And then how about this? A little spring tease next Tuesday, Wednesday. Sunshine and temperatures well up into the 50s. And that is your forecast.